Don't be a stranger in the night. Take a chance for some romance. Don't cover your eyes. Willow trees know you better than anyone else. It's time you let your guard down. For someone like me, I'd say I'm settled and pretty calm. I don't storm in the storm. If not me, then someone like me that knows what to do and how to take care of you. But most of all, that deserves you.
Good morning. Let me just... I hope your week's been going well since I saw you last week. Today it is organic oolong tea by Bird Pick Tea and Herb. I've mentioned them before, I really like them. That rose tea, I think about it all the time, especially in the summer, like some really good iced sun tea made out of that rose tea. I could get down with that. Anyway, I decided to pop in today and kind of make a part 2 of Have I Been Hexed? I've been getting a lot of questions of, well, that's great, I'm really glad that most likely I'm not hexed, but what if I am? And I didn't cover that. Why did I not cover that? I don't know, because it would have been a longer video and I felt like maybe you guys wanted shorter videos, but so far I've been getting feedback saying that you guys like my long videos, which is nice. Let me grab my notes because I got notes. Okay, so like I said, this is part 2 because a lot of people have been asking me, okay, well, what if I have been hexed? Or maybe you haven't even been hexed, but there's just a lot of negative energy running around, which happens, when a lot of bad things happen. You get stressed and there's negative energy, or, there's a lot of fights going on or conflict or whatever, and you just kind of want to like clear that out. So I think I've kind of put it all down into 4 simple steps. Look at me trying to categorize and not just ramble and make it a whole thing. Yeah, let's say that you've actually been sent some ill intentions by somebody, or just really bad or negative has been lingering around you and you just kind of want to get rid of that. The first step is to just cleanse everything, clean everything, clear it out, and banish anything that is lingering around you. There's a lot of different ways to do that. You can literally just Google simple cleansing spells, simple banishing spells, simple ways to cleanse spiritually. Honestly, there are endless ways to do this, really just up to preference. I know that the very popular way is to use sage. I actually don't like the smell of sage when it's burnt. I like the smell of sage when it's a spray, but I don't like burning sage. It's very intense to me, and many other practitioners I've found view it more as kind of like a spiritual bleach. Not that that's a bad thing, it's very intense. So instead of just getting rid of all the negative energy, sage seems to be getting rid of also the positive energy. So it kind of just leaves this big empty space that allows anything else to just fill it back in. So that's why if you do use sage, make sure to burn something else or use something else to bring in the positive, so that you fill that space with positive instead of having it just kind of come back with positive and negative, or one or the other. So once you burn sage, maybe burn something like sweetgrass or rosemary or lavender. Turn on some really good music. Just fill the space with something else positive. Just fill the space with what you want it to be filled with, instead of just saging and then leaving it, because everything's just gonna come back. So the big thing is cleaning and cleansing kind of go hand in hand. That's probably not what a lot of you want to hear, but it's true. So try to clean up, put away that laundry, do the laundry, clear your bed. You saw that I would shake out a lot of my bed sheets. It's just good to kind of just shake it all out and have some fresh, clean linen on your bed. So change the bed sheets, clean the kitchen, organize your living room, dust, do whatever you need to. I think the biggest thing is to focus on where that negative energy is looming or where you're feeling it from. I should also point out that if you have found powder or sachets or a lemon with rusty nails driven through it on your porch or in one of your bags or something, or in your car, get rid of it. The best thing to do is to take it and get it as far away from you as possible. Now, if you're doing the full house, I mean, make sure to actually clean your house. Don't just pick things up. I mean, like if you're really feeling like there's a lot of negative, stale energy around, clean, get into those crevices, throw out the things that you don't need anymore. Take a whole day and just, if you're doing your whole house, to make your bed and your bedroom the first thing that you clean, because then you have a space to just chill. You have a space to come back and rest, because you can't clean the whole house without resting. I mean, you can, but you're gonna be exhausted and tired and irritable. So I think, you know, take 45 minutes, clean, cleanse, do whatever you need to, and then come back and take like a 10-15 minute break. Meditate, listen to music, go on YouTube, just chill out, read a book, you know, recharge a little bit. And then once your 15-minute break is over, get back up for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and go back at it. My favorite way to actually clean off surfaces, and it's also, you can also use it as just a room spray. It's 1 part distilled water and 1 part white distilled vinegar. And then I like to add either a few sprigs of fresh rosemary, you can add dried rosemary, or you can add a few drops of rosemary essential oil. It's a really good actual cleaner. You can spray this in your kitchen or in your bathroom or wherever and actually wipe it down. If you don't like the smell of vinegar, maybe add a few more drops of rosemary or just dilute it a little bit more, but it's just gonna be a little less strong. But it works really well because vinegar is a good cleanser. It's a really good banishing agent, so it just banishes everything. And for some reason, spirits don't like vinegar. I don't know why, they just don't like it. And then rosemary is really good for protection, and it's also very good for bringing in positive energy. Oh, it's gonna be so loud right here. So after you cleanse with everything, another good way to bring all of that positive energy back in is to play some really good music, turn on a really nice podcast, dance. I mean, open the windows. Really get that energy flowing through that space. If you like incense, I really like this incense. I really like this brand Morningstar. I like the jasmine one, or they have a rose and a vanilla. All 3 of those are really good. I like the vanilla one a lot. It smells really sweet, and they're not really intense. They don't produce a lot of smoke. The sticks are really small and thin too. Let's focus. They last maybe like 20 minutes. So they don't last very long either. Honestly, I like that about them. You can light a really nice candle that smells good. I light candles all the time. I love candles, especially scented candles, just because they smell great and they look pretty. But because I light them all the time, I burn through them like crazy. I'm actually just going to sweep everything out in my living room. This is where the witch's broom comes in. This is a really good way to cleanse and banish and just kind of literally sweep everything out the door. You don't have to have any aesthetic or really pretty. It can be the broom that you bought at Target. That's what I use. There are different ways to do it. A lot of people like to start from the back and work their way to the front door, and while they're sweeping everything out, they're also sweeping, they're visualizing, you know, sweeping all of the negative and all of the things that they don't want out of the door. And you can also do this the reverse way by sweeping good things in. You don't have to like actually touch the ground at that point. I've also heard of doing the clockwise and counterclockwise, to go counterclockwise, to start from the door and go counterclockwise, banishing and sending away, and to do clockwise, it's bringing things in. Oh, my tea's done. This time I'm drinking Twinnings Earl Grey tea. I'm just getting like right up in the camera right now, but I'm gonna tell you that even with notes, I am rambling. I am trying really hard to keep this nice and short and simple, but it is not working. So you've cleansed, you've cleared, you've banished. Now you want to make sure that you protect and you pull in positivity. That's the second step. Once you've cleared everything out, you have to pull something back in. You want to fill your space with something positive and something protective. That's why I like to add rosemary into my mixture. Again, it's 1 part distilled water, 1 part white vinegar, and then of either fresh rosemary, dried rosemary, or you can add a few drops of rosemary essential oil. You don't even have to add rosemary. You can add something like lavender. You can add something like sweet orange. You can add different things. If you want a really packed punch, water, vinegar, and slice up some lemon peels and throw that in there. Shake it up really well. That is going to get rid of everything. That is such a good cleanser, and it smells so good. Protect your space. Protect yourself. Do this with blessings, with prayers, with calling upon your ancestors, your guides, your spirits, your deities. You can set up protective stones or symbols or statues, anything that makes you feel safe and that correlates to you for protection. Rosemary is a really good protective herb, and you can find it anywhere and in any store. And where I live in California, it grows everywhere.
Eggshells are also a really good protective agent. I'll usually take some when I'm cooking and then wash them out, put them out in the sun to let them dry out, and I will put them in my mortar and pestle and just crush them up until they're a good like chalky consistency, just like crushed. If you don't have a mortar and pestle, because you know not everybody has a mortar and pestle, you can put them in a baggie and just kind of like a dough roller and just roll them out, and then I just put them in this jar. I use it both for protection, and I also will sprinkle them in my plants and put them in the soil because it's really good for calcium for them, so they really like that too.
You can grow protective plants in pots next to your windows or next to your doors. Also, because my vinegar rosemary infusion, both cleansing and protection, I like to use that as a door wash. So I will spray it on a rag and I will literally wipe all of my doorways and all of my window seals, and I'll wipe all of those down, go around, and as you're wiping everything down or as you're using any kind of protective smoke, lighting a protective candle for your home, you can verbally say, this home is protected. You can verbally say, this amulet will protect me. Also things like black salt, regular salt, rosemary, protective stones around the home, and sigils are all very, very easy and very, very useful. So the third rule is to ward. Once you've cleansed and banished, once you've protected, now you want to ward, because cleansing is getting rid of, protection is putting up those walls, and wards is just kind of just ending the problem before it even starts. Wards are like a go away sign, a do not disturb sign. So you're going to be setting up all of these wards so that if some kind of negative energy or negative spirit comes along, they're gonna see these wards and be like, oh, don't fuck with them. Again, protective figures, protective sigils, stones, things like obsidian, black tourmaline, and hematite are all 3 really good stones that I've heard that work really well. Black tourmaline, and set it above your door seal. Is that what it's called? Like the little top thing of your door where people put keys? Either outside or inside, but if you put those up there, it's supposed to block negative energy from entering your door. Things like the evil eye talisman, things like the pentagram or the pentacle, anything like that. You can even use a cross on your door and make sure to bless that in holy water. If that, there are endless ways to put up wards and to put up protections. A lot of people really like to do the 4 corners that are facing each direction. You can put up a small little ward for each side. Something that I found online that was really cute, it was just a bottle cap full of salt and black salt and just like little protective herbs, and it was just a bottle cap, and they would put them in certain places and basically just let that absorb all of the negative energy. You can also do that with match heads because of the sulfur. It likes to absorb all of that negative energy. One thing that I've always thought about doing, it just seems like a daunting project at the moment, is creating a protective bead curtain. And I would love to have like a mix between different kind of stones, of beads, and evil eye talismans, and bless all of it and use not magic in it and like make this whole thing, because I want to make everything complicated and artsy. Why? And when you hang it, it's literally a protective barrier. I think that'd be cool. So those are wards for your home. Now wards for on your person, think of things for like an amulet, a charm bag, a special piece of jewelry that you may wear often that maybe somebody got you, and you can turn that into a very protective piece. Right now this is a ring that my mom got me ever ago, and I freak out if I don't have it. It makes me feel like I'm protected. And I didn't really bless it in any way. I didn't really do anything with it. Charm bags, and just fill these with little pieces of herbs that are protective, stones that are protective. You can fill these with pictures of any of your deities or your ancestors that you feel protected by. You can fill these with sigils, and then when you tie them together, you can use knot magic. Tidbit, if you don't know what knot magic is, the simplest form of magic. You can do it with your shoelace. Oh, you can use that for protection magic. So if you're ever tying your shoelaces, just see if you can work in like 2 or 3 knots and protect yourself that way. I don't know, just throwing out ideas here. You can use sigils, and you can either draw them on the bottoms of your shoes. You can use pieces of paper with your sigils on them and put them in your shoe. Another one that I used actually for my friend, she was having communication issues, and most of the time they were communicating through her phone. So one thing that seemed to work for quite a long time actually, and pretty well, was that I made a sigil for her for good communication, and it was on a piece of paper, and she put it in between her phone and her phone case and just kept it there with her, and she said that she didn't have problems after that. You can do that, or you can have your sigil and it's in a notebook that you don't want to rip it out on. You can take a picture of it on your phone and keep it as your lock screen, or as your home page, or maybe just keep it in your photos and just pull it up whenever. Obviously very much so modern witchcraft rather than traditional. I know everybody's like, traditional witchcraft, sticks and dirt and herbs, and I love sticks and dirt and herbs, don't get me wrong, but we got to adapt. This is the world that we live in, and I think it's really, really cool that we have all of these things to work with. This is the 4th and the final tip. Keep it up. It's maintenance. That's why I like to mix my spiritual cleaning and my mundane cleaning together, because then I'm doing all of it together and I don't feel the need to do both and feel like I'm lacking on one side or another. Keep it up in a small way. I make my bed every day. No, I don't tuck everything in and fluff my pillows. I literally just make sure that it's presentable, because then I have a place to come back to that I'm like, oh yes, something's in order. Even though I literally just made my bed. If you live in an apartment, or even just your own room, if you're still living in your own room and you're still living under your parents' home, or you only have that room that is really your space, keep that space cleansed and protected and warded, because that is going to be your breath of fresh air when you have a terrible day and you can come home and come back to that space and just brush it all off, and then you can do a little bit of cleansing and get all of that you just brushed off out of the door, and you're done. Some people have wards and they believe that they stay up forever. I think it just depends. I think the ones that absorb negative energy you have to change out, and I think the ones that are just standing, kind of like statues or stones with sigils underneath them outside of your house, protective herbs, things like that that are growing outside, those are standing wards. Whereas the other ones that absorb the negative energy as they come, you will have to cleanse all of that off, or you're gonna have to kind of change out the water or change out the salt or things like that. So that is all for today. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. I hope your Wednesday goes amazing, and until the next video, best of luck, be kind to each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm just gonna pop in here really quick. I was editing the video and then I realized I should probably tell you this. I know a lot of you did see the post that I posted on YouTube about making a small community for the whole entire Wonderlust coven to interact with each other. I ended up creating it on Reddit. I created a subreddit. I know a lot of you were kind of like, I don't really like Reddit, but to be honest, with a lot of the... Thanks, refrigerator. And then there's yard work, why is it so loud? I know a lot of you were a little upset that it was Reddit instead of Amino or anything else, and mostly because most people wanted Amino, but I did do a lot of research and I was trying to kind of dabble in figuring out how to create the community and what would be best for everybody, and honestly, Reddit just seemed like the best way to do it, and it just made it so much easier for me to moderate the whole entire thing. I really hope you guys really enjoy it. I want you guys to join it. I'll put a link in the description, because I think it'd just be awesome to be able to actually intimately interact with all of you. I want to be able to see the spell work that you're doing if you're comfortable sharing it. I want to be able to see the journaling or the art, or just got new candles that you're really excited about and you want to send us pictures, or you have a really good recipe or really good spell that you want to share with everybody. Maybe you have questions because you're beginning in the whole entire journey. I just want this community to be something open where we can all learn from each other and where we can all interact with each other. Click that link. See if joining the Wonderlust community in Reddit is something that you want to do. I would love to see you there. I have the recipe for my Earl Grey sun tea lemonade right here. Delicious. So yeah, until then, best of luck, be kind to each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye.